Some people feel older than their age, not physically, not because of what they've been through, but in the way they move through moments. You can usually spot it in conversations. There's a slight delay before they respond, not because they don't understand, because they're already somewhere else with it. While most people are reacting to what's being said, they're watching how it's being said, the tone, the timing, the shift underneath the words, and that's where it starts. For most people, experience is immediate. Something happens, they feel it, they respond. But for this person, something slips in between. Something happens, they recognize the pattern, then they respond. It's subtle, but it changes the texture of everything. A disagreement doesn't arrive as something new. It feels structured, familiar in shape, even if the details are different. The rhythm of it is already known. So instead of moving with it, they're slightly ahead of it. And that small distance starts to add up. Moments don't land the same way. They pass through a layer first, a quiet recognition. And over time, that recognition becomes automatic. New interactions start to feel like variations, not repetitions exactly, but close enough that the mind begins to treat them that way. A certain kind of conversation, a certain kind of energy, a certain kind of shift. It all begins to map itself. And when something is mapped, it's harder for it to feel completely new. That's when the feeling starts to settle in. Not loudly, not all at once, just a quiet sense that you're no longer inside moments the same way other people are, like you're slightly behind the glass, still present, still aware, but not fully immersed. And what's interesting is, from the outside, this often looks like composure, like calm, like control. But internally, it's something else. It's not that the moment is less intense, it's that it's already been processed before it fully arrives. So reactions become smaller, not forced, just reduced. And over time, people begin to notice it, even if they can't explain it. They describe it in simple terms. You seem older. You think differently. You're more mature. But those words don't quite capture what's happening, because it isn't about maturity, and it isn't about knowing more. It's about where attention sits. Most people place their attention inside the moment. This person places part of it just outside, watching the structure of the moment as it unfolds. And that creates a strange position. They're present, but also observing their own presence at the same time. And that split is easy to miss until you start noticing what it does over longer periods of time. How quickly things begin to feel familiar. How rarely something feels completely unfiltered. How often there's already a sense of where something is going before it gets there. And maybe that's why the feeling doesn't really go away. It doesn't peak. It doesn't resolve. It just stays there, quiet, consistent. Like you're moving through time at the same speed as everyone else, but experiencing slightly less of the unknown inside it. And the strange part is, it doesn't feel wrong. It just feels different. Like you've already stepped into a version of perspective that most people don't reach until much later, if they ever do. And once that shift happens, it doesn't really announce itself. It just becomes the way things are seen from that point on.